there to Cape Town, where the city of Cape Town is honouring the Arch with an interfaith service today. It'll be held at the St. George's Cathedral. Let's cross now to Ayesha Ishmail, who'll be following those proceedings as they unfold. Ayesha, many thanks for your time this afternoon. Perhaps give us a sense of the mood where you are currently and what we are expecting in terms of the proceedings that will be unfolding during the interfaith service. We've just brought our viewers out of Soweto, where a tribute by his former neighbours was about to be made. So what can we expect on that side of the world?
So, just a correction, the Interfaith Memorial Service, which is the official memorial service for Archbishop Desmond Tutu, will be held here at the City Hall, and this is exactly the place where Archbishop Desmond Tutu introduced Nelson Mandela in 1994 as our brand new president. So the official program will start at 6 o'clock. The city is inviting residents and visitors to the mother city to come and enjoy the interfaith service. Almost all the major faiths will be represented: Muslims, Christians, Jews, Hindus, Baha'i, as well as the Khoisan faith, and of course the African traditional faith will all be represented here to come and pay their respects to Archbishop Desmond Tutu. But as we know, the Archbishop also loved song and dance, and I must tell you that the legendary Jonathan Butler as well as Vicky Sampson will be performing here tonight. But I'm now joined by the former city manager of Cape Town, Andrew Boraine. Andrew, you conferred the freedom of the city on the Archbishop. What year was that?
Aisha, thank you. It was 1998, and the city of Cape Town voted to confer its highest civic honor on Archbishop Tutu at the time. And I was very proud as city manager to read out the citation at the ceremony, which took place right behind us in the City Hall. It's amazing to think, though, at the time, it wasn't a unanimous decision. There were quite a few councillors who voted against conferring the freedom of the city of Cape Town on Archbishop Tutu, feeling that he was too controversial. So it just goes to show what happens in our divided past in South Africa.
But you were also telling me that you had other interactions with him as well.
Yes, a few years later, when I was working for the Cape Town Partnership, which was a central city urban regeneration project. We were supporting in 2006 the Homeless World Cup, which took place right here on the Grand Parade. And of course, who better to kick it off than Archbishop Tutu? And he arrived in his big boots and did a sterling job, showing some very good skills, obviously picked up in the streets of Soweto in kicking off the Homeless World Cup and showing his support for the rights of homeless people in South Africa.
But your dad, Alex Boraine, was the deputy chair of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. What do you recall of that process with your dad working with Archbishop Desmond Tutu?
Well, they'd known each other for many years prior to that. They both came out of a theological and church background and had worked together in the 1970s already through the South African Council of Churches. But it was on the sort of heat of the political battles of the 1990s that they forged a very, very close friendship between the two of them. You know, the TRC, people forget what a grueling process it was. In 2.5 years, the commissioners, including my dad and Desmond Tutu, literally visited every city and town, big and small towns in the country, hearing over 22,000 submissions from people who had been abused as victims of apartheid. And it took a huge physical toll every day moving to a new place. It took a huge mental and emotional toll hearing these stories of torture, of disappearances, of loved ones. And during the middle of this, Desmond Tutu was diagnosed with prostate cancer in 1996 and had to go to New York for 2 months for treatment. My dad had to take over on a temporary basis. And of course, therefore, they had to trust each other and have each other's backs. And I think they forged this incredible bond during that time, which lasted right up till my dad died 3 years ago.
And And I recall during the TRC process, remember Archbishop Desmond Tutu actually broke down and cried.
Quite on more than one occasion. And, you know, quite a few times my dad had to physically comfort him and hold him.
Thank you so much for your time. And that was Andrew Borain, a former city manager here in Cape Town. And also, while we mourn the death of Archbishop Desmond Tutu, we're certainly going to be celebrating his life. And that program will start at 6 p.m. here at the City Hall.
Thank you very much, Ayesha Ishmail, following the interfaith memorial service that will be happening at 6 p.m. this evening. And just a correction once again, happening at the Cape Town City Hall and not at the cathedral as we'd earlier reported.